Dillian Whyte believes that he would beat Alexander Povetkin 9 times out of 10. He said, quote, "I don't look for excuses. Listen, my coaching team did what they were supposed to do. They got me to the fight injury-free. They got me to the fight in shape. We were boxing well. We were winning rounds. We were fighting one of the best opponents I have fought in a long time. Early doors, I was making him miss. The punches that he usually lands, I was making him miss. But that's the way it goes sometimes. It's boxing. You can win 11.5 rounds and get stopped in the last 10 seconds. The team has done a great job. They got me in a good place. They got me down to 17 stone plus. We were happy. Credit due to Povetkin. Fair play to him. He threw a good punch and it landed, and what more can I say? Now we go into camp, we put it right, we come back again. I believe I beat Povetkin 9 times out of 10. End quote. Do I believe Dillian Whyte beats Povetkin 9 times out of 10? No, I don't. Do I believe that he beats Povetkin several times out of 10? Probably. But not 9 times out of 10. Yes, he was winning the fight. And he dropped Povetkin a couple times. And there was actually improvements there, by the way. And I'll come on to that a little bit, well, in a separate video, actually. There were improvements there, and he was doing well, dropped Povetkin. But at the same time, even though he was making Povetkin miss with the headshots, Povetkin was getting through with the body shots. And you do wonder what kind of toll those body shots took on Dillian Whyte's legs. Are those body shots part of the reason why Dillian Whyte was more stationary and therefore Povetkin was able to get on the inside and land that uppercut? Because Dave Coldwell was very concerned watching at ringside. He was obviously part of Dillian Whyte's training team. He was very concerned watching at ringside that Dillian Whyte was giving Povetkin all those shots to the body. Not hitting Povetkin, I mean, allowing Povetkin to get into position to hit him in the body so often. Dave Coldwell didn't like that. Not only because when he's in that position, it means he can also come up with uppercuts and set other punches up. But as I say, also because it takes steam out of your legs when you're getting hit in the body like that. And Dillian Whyte was boxing well from long range, keeping Povetkin at the end of a ramrod jab. But if he hadn't finished, let's say he didn't get caught early in that 5th, was it only a matter of time before he did get caught? Was he just inevitably, due to those body shots, going to slow down sufficiently that Povetkin would get him into those close quarter exchanges and land a shot like that at some stage? I think if they fought 10 times, Povetkin would be able to get to Dillian Whyte more than once out of those 10 times. He might be able to get him in 3 of those encounters, 4 of those encounters. Maybe he would win 9 times out of 10. I don't know. All I'm saying is, I think Povetkin, from a style point of view and an ability point of view, he has plenty to trouble Dillian Whyte with. Particularly after watching the fight back several times, you can see the avenues were opening up for Povetkin to have success. Okay, again, he was getting pummeled, but Dillian Whyte defensively wasn't perfect. And there were opportunities there, as you saw in that 5th. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. How well do you think Dillian Whyte can adjust in the rematch? Now, I've talked about the psychological aspect at play here, but from a technical point of view, how well do you think he can adjust? Do you think he can stay away from Povetkin's body shots? Do you think he can avoid those close quarter exchanges where he gets caught the way he did in the first fight? Or do you think it's inevitable that at some stage, Povetkin is going to get into close quarters and land? Now, some believe, and I think David Hay might have been one of them, and even Mark Tibbs, Dillian Whyte's former trainer, he said that Dillian should have put it on Povetkin more. Because if you try and box with him, you give him time to think, and then you give him time to set up shots. But as I've said previously, it's a gamble either way. Because if you go forward, Povetkin's not going to have to look for you, is he? Because Povetkin was looking for Dillian Whyte in that fight. And he couldn't find him, at least not with the headshots. And that allowed Dillian to walk him on to big punches. So that counter-punching strategy and dominating at long range with a jab was working. If Dillian Whyte decides to go forward, he opens himself up. Maybe he can get Povetkin out of there if he decides to go forward and keep Povetkin on the back foot. Maybe he can. Then again, maybe he gets clipped. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a risk either way. I still think that boxing at long range, as he did in the first fight, is the best way to go about it. But that's assuming Dillian Whyte has recovered sufficiently mentally. If he hasn't, and if he's going to be even more vulnerable to Povetkin's power than he was in the first fight, then that's a situation where Dillian Whyte is probably going to lose, and therefore he might as well gamble. You know? I had more confidence, obviously, in Dillian Whyte winning the first fight at long range because he hadn't been chinned yet by Povetkin. But getting chinned just does change things from a psychological perspective. When a fighter gets knocked out that badly and he comes back against the same opponent who knocked him virtually out cold, there can be demons there, lurking in the subconscious and often in the conscious mind as well. And they can affect how your legs react when you get hit. And if Dillian Whyte's legs don't react well, let's say he comes out in the first round, gets hit with a solid jab and he's wobbling. At that point, should Dillian Whyte stick to his boxing or should he go for it and try and take Povetkin out? I mean, not necessarily immediately there and then, but once he's recovered, should he stick to boxing at long range or should he go for it and try and get Povetkin first before Povetkin gets him? Maybe. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. It's all psychological. If Dillian Whyte manages to recover and he's as mentally strong in the rematch as he was in the first fight, then I say use the same tactics as the first fight minus exchanging up close. Now, in terms of what he's going to do about those body shots, I would like to see him come in lighter because even though he was in pretty good shape for the first fight, if he could come in even lighter and in a similar way to Anthony, look, he's never going to be as athletic as Anthony Joshua. But he doesn't necessarily need to be able to beat Povetkin at long range. Okay? He has the offensive ability. He has the long-range boxing technique to be able to land the shots and make Povetkin miss his headshots